All right. We're waiting for everyone to join in and then we'll get started. While we do that, we can talk about what's in your cup. Am I the only one drinking? I mean, I'm not drinking, I'm drinking.
This is actually perfect. I always drink coffee in the afternoon anyway, so I really have coffee in here.
Yeah, it's your I try not to do the coffee in the afternoon and it's too early for bourbon. So I little mango peach tea without the bourbon, which I will tell you, the Crystal Light uh peach tea with bourbon garnished with a peach wedge looks pretty
Ooh,
good. It's pretty tasty too.
Sounds good.
we'll
Sounds
be
yeah,
trying that. Yeah.
sounds delicious. I would have assumed vodka with that, but bourbon. I like
No, no vodka. Vodka's for sissies.
Well, now I'm just embarrassed to say that. Yeah, it's just straight coffee in the Xactus.
We'll reserve the bourbon for the weekends or for the late nights, but we'll go ahead and get started. There's still a few people joining, but without further ado, welcome to the SIP, a space where conversation sparks connection, collaboration, inspires innovation, and industry leaders gather to tackle today's biggest challenges and think of it as catching up over coffee or bourbon or tea or a beer, whatever it may be, only with insights that move our industry forward. I want to say a special thank you to everyone for joining us today. We have a crowd on our panel. So thank you for all of those who are joining us today within the network and those who will join us on LinkedIn Live. Just a little bit later on, today's episode is proudly sponsored by Xactus, a pioneer in verification technology and reshaping how credit and data power lending decisions. Representing Xactus is Tom Gallucci, EVP of Strategic Sales. And joining him are uh, Ryan Doehrmann and Nathan Seyfer, Chief. Let's see, which one's the Chief Consumer Lending Officer? I believe that's Ryan.
That would
And
be
then
me. Yep.
Nathan is SVP of Mortgage Lending, both of Greenstate Credit Union. So welcome to all of you. You did not notice my typo in the talk track for our prep, I noticed. So this should be interesting.
Yeah, showed you how much we prepared, right? No.
You guys nailed it. You nailed it. So, but let's dive in. Tom, welcome back. You're not only a long TMC team member, but also a strong advocate for our mission. Tell us about your role at Xactus and the company's evolution.
Yeah, happily, Jody. It's good to be back in the saddle. First time on the SIP. Yeah, it was a special 8 years for me helping grow TMC. So, I'm true blue to the mission of the collaborative and all the co-op does to really help support its members and its partners. And it's great to be here representing Xactus too, which I think we're actually coming up on our 10-year anniversary, going back to the Credit Plus days as a partner of TMC. So obviously we love our relationship. But yeah, I mean, on the evolution of Xactus, the organization itself has been around since 2022. So you're like, that math doesn't add up. Xactus formed kind of through the strategic acquisition of 5 legacy credit reporting companies. There was Credit Plus, Universal CIS, DataFax, Advantis, and Sharper Lending. And so we brought those 5 companies together, developed our own proprietary ordering platform, Xactus 360, which is an intelligent verification platform, or you'll hear IVP quite a bit from the Xactus team. And essentially, it allows our clients to order all these different products and services under the Xactus umbrella, all through one platform, or direct integration to your LOS. So it's exciting here, just having the power of that platform for centralized ordering, tracking, billing, to control your verification process, and we get to control the development from our end too. So it allows us to do some really innovative things with our workflow for our clients.
Awesome. So the industry needed another acronym. So
Right.
thank you for that. So speaking of strong connections, Greenstate Credit Union is a valued TMC member, and Nathan was just elected to our lender board. Nathan, we're thrilled to collaborate more deeply with you and your team. Tell us about Greenstate, your role there, and what your
Yeah.
journey has been.
Yeah, no, it's great to be here. I'm looking forward to representing credit unions on the board with TMC because again, all of our member partners with TMC really bring a lot of value and collaboration from that standpoint. Credit unions, IMBs, and banks. It's been great to connect there. So looking forward to that, continuing that, and being a part of that continuance. So Green State Credit Union, we're one of the largest credit unions in the Midwest, 440,000 plus members strong. The mortgage team here, obviously we're here to talk about mortgage, number 7 as far as originations for credit unions in the United States in 2024. So big focus on that piece. And again, it's through collaboration with our partners, with other places to learn and innovate in that space. And I think that's one of the things in my role. I moved over from sales, I've been in mortgage for 21 years now, that really having that strong front end sales piece. But then as I had the opportunity to shift over into the leadership and management of our credit union mortgage side, really seeing what systems we can plug into place, the partners like Xactus that can help us continue to grow in a way that we're minding our costs and looking at those efficiencies that we can gain has really been part of my focus. And then again, across just the day-to-day operations from sales to ops, that's my area. So.
Awesome. And Ryan, same to you. Share your story and walk us through how your relationship with Xactus began and what has kept it strong.
Yeah, well, first of all, you can see why I have Nathan leading our mortgage division, very polished. He was a lender forever, and I prayed that he would come over to the leadership side, and he's done a heck of a job for us. So, and I usually kind of have him do these webinars, but I couldn't pass up the opportunity to be with my friends here with us, Tom and you, Jody, with TMC and Xactus. So I feel like we made it. Once you make it on the SIP, that's a pretty big deal. So we're excited today. But a little background: I've been with Greenstate 16 years. I've been in the mortgage industry for 23. Started out as a lender, like all of us, and worked my way through the different leadership roles. And now I do sit on our exec team here at Greenstate, oversee all of our consumer lending. The only thing I don't have is commercial, thankfully, right now. But that's all of our mortgage, all of our retail banking, lending, or indirect auto business. And we do have a manufactured housing division here too. So a lot going on. I still am heavily involved in mortgage because that's kind of our lead dog here at the credit union. But as you can see, and Nathan does a heck of a job. You talk about our relationship. Tom mentioned this, but it goes all the way back to Credit Plus, way back when. And those guys do a good job. Our local reps, Lonnie and Todd, are fantastic. Always have been there for us. How can they drive value for us? Always reaching out to us. They're never scared to drive or fly into the great state of Iowa and come and talk to our lenders. So we appreciate those guys greatly. But back in, I don't know, Nathan, when it was 17, 18, we were switching to Simple Nexus, now Encino. Credit Plus was one of the few credit partners that we had that integrated with Simple Nexus. So that was vital to us and was huge when we made that transition to Simple Nexus. And then I go back to, if you talk about Xactus now, it really, really kicked off coincidentally at a TMC conference in Chicago. I believe me, Tom, correct me if I'm wrong, you guys went through your rebranding, name change. Was it March of 22?
Yep.
And that TMC conference in Chicago was September of 22. We brought our whole team in since that's a close drive for us. And my main man, Michael Crockett, and a couple others took us out to dinner. We had our whole team. You guys, Xactus had a lot there and explained the vision, evolution of Xactus. And I really felt that night, and then days after, our relationship really solidified there, and so it's kind of come full circle here that happened at a TMC conference here in the Midwest. And lastly, we just have a lot of similarities. Tom talked about all the acquisitions. We've gone through 3 bank acquisitions. definitely looking for mergers here with other credit unions. We want to kind of grow into a top 5 credit union in the country. We're getting there, but they've gone through a rebrand. We have too, so just a lot of similarities with Xactus.
Awesome. So there's a lot to unpack there with that history. We first have to start with the helmet in the background and the reference to flying into the great state of Iowa. So you do know that Big Ten football is pretty big in Ohio, and you have two pretty big Ohio State fans on the call. I did just look up. It doesn't look like we're on the schedule for the game against. It doesn't look like we're on the schedule this year.
We're rooting for you guys to
not.
win one of these this year, though.
I know. Hey, shout out. We respect the Buckeyes, and I know TMC is like loaded with Ohioans, and so you guys are just love the Buckeyes there.
Yeah.
We are fully aware. We love our Hawkeyes here. We're not on the same level. We do beat you every once in a while, but I think we're both looking forward to the football season, as is others. I was just talking to my guy John Hill this morning. He's a big Wolverine, so he's equally excited. So
yeah, awesome. And you do have Caitlin Clark, so we'll give you that. So that
we do. I'm actually getting a nice picture in here of Caitlin, so I just don't have it up yet, but we do love her.
Awesome. So I do see that there's clear synergy between Xactus and Greenstate, and there has been for some time, which leads us to the next layer. So Tom, Xactus is known for credit services, but you're trailblazing the verification space, and you hinted to it earlier, but what additional services are you offering, and where is the company heading as we think about Xactus 360?
Yeah, well, I kind of missed that in my first response, kind of laying out what my specific role is at Xactus. So let me unpack that because it'll tie into highlighting some specific things we're working on and kind of where we're heading. And first off, defending champion Ohio State Buckeyes, but instead of anybody didn't already know. So in my role with Xactus, I manage a team of product line subject matter experts. And essentially, we cover all of our product lines outside of your core credit report ordering. So verifications, income, assets, employment, our proprietary flood determinations, fraud reports, appraisal firewall, our valuation technology platform, loan level QC, data solutions, lead generation, portfolio monitoring for risk retention, and our tenant screening division. So as you can imagine, I wear a lot of different hats here with my team, and they support kind of our boots on the ground sales team across the country. So in a nutshell, that's what Xactus offers in addition to core credit and verifications that most people know us by. Some really fun things that we're working on. The SIP audience may not be aware of. We just recently launched, we're the first to market with FICO for their score mortgage simulator. As an alternative to Credit Expert, and who better to get those score improvement scenarios from than the organization that provides the scoring and knows the algorithms that best impact your score either positive or negatively. So it's been fun to lead on that and also partner with FICO on additional development there. Actually, I'll drop it in the chat here momentarily, but we just upgraded our HMDA audit solution. And we just released our first client case study with a community bank. So we're really excited to share out the findings from there, as a lot of people aren't aware that we even offer that. And then on the verification side, we just recently launched an indicator with the work number for verifications of income and employment. And we have another indicator in development with instant database provider Thomas & Co. That'll be out a little bit later this year. And the cool point for these indicators is there another data point earlier in the process when lenders are pulling the initial credit report? So it gives them some insight as to whether these instant databases have an employment record on file before going in and requesting the ever increasingly expensive verification request. So it's a real hot button out there, and it's fun to kind of be at the forefront and offering some solutions that lenders can layer in. That really ties into Xactus's focus in general, which is getting you better data earlier in the lending process, not only to support better loan quality, but also help control costs and just reduce wasted verifications on all the loans that never make it to the closing table. So that's really a highlight, Jody, of what we've launched recently. And I gotta be somewhat tight-lipped for now, but I'm looking forward to coming back to the SIP maybe at the end of the year to talk about some emerging tech enhancements being worked on behind the scenes that we think are really going to be a game changer for just verifications of income and employment in general.
We're definitely looking forward to it. And that seems like a really cool gig for you, Tom. So congratulations on the role. And I know that you love the interaction with the clients and being able to take real world instances and feedback and be able to apply that has to be extremely gratifying. And Ryan, as a member of Xactus's clients advisory board, you're helping shape the future. Why does the board matter and how does it help drive value?
Yeah, first of all, I mean, it's an honor to serve on that board. There's so many talented individuals on there from all across the country. Kind of question why I was even asked to be on there, to be honest with you, once I saw the list. But nah, there's some good friends that I've developed relationship with over the years, and then some new ones because of this board. So it's actually absolutely been fantastic. And then if you look at the leadership group at Xactus, the exec team, Shelly, Sasha, Greg, Mike, Thomas, and then I already mentioned my man Crockett, just fantastic leaders there. And so to be able to interact with them and talk to them on a personal level has been good. But if you look at the advisory board, to me, it comes down to like three things: collaboration, knowledge, and impact. And I mean, it matters because it gives lenders like Greenstate, but everybody that's in that room, a real voice in shaping tools and solutions that we use every single day. So they take the direct feedback. We see what's coming. We can help influence the direction of innovation. And hopefully, as your question alluded to, that can drive real value, but not just for us, but everyone that's in the lending community across the country. So, we get to look at the products evolve and see what lenders say and need, and hopefully serve our borrowers better. So that's really the impact that it's bringing. And we've had one meeting so far. We got another one coming up in a couple months that I'm looking forward to, and excited to see what's on the horizon and on the roadmap.
Yeah, I'll say
real
we don't.
quick, Ryan sells himself short. He absolutely fits in with the talented individuals on the client advisory board, and I'd love to say we stole the idea from like TMC collaboration labs, but Cab was already kind of in flight when I joined, so maybe it's something Crockett stole from his regular attendance at conferences.
That's fine. And I was going to say along the same lines, like Ryan, I'm sure that you represent lenders very well in the space with verifications and, credit unions having a unique perspective where you need verifications for multiple lines of business. So
Yeah.
I'm sure you're doing an amazing job. And then Nathan, from your perspective, what distinguishes Xactus in today's competitive, somewhat saturated verification landscape?
Yeah, well, and just again to put a plug in for the conference, the timing of the Chicago conference that Ryan just alluded to was right around one of our acquisitions, and we were actually, again, the spontaneous conversations that happen at these that you just people don't know what you're looking for or you're working through a project. It did happen at that we really dove in deeper with Xactus, formerly Credit Plus at that time. It was where we deepened that relationship just because, again, some of the services that weren't there previously was just mostly credit, but bringing that all under the 360, we were able to expand it. Okay, they are going to have full services. We were looking for one sole provider when we were merging with the other bank. Pulling that in and having the single source from that one bundled contract was really a really strong value proposition for us as part of the services that we do on our mortgage side. And back to your question, Jody, it's the collaboration. So it is that piece where, as we're moving through, Lonnie and Todd are always bringing us, hey, there's a new feature coming. There's this new product, an enhancement, and we look at how can we implement that and bring that into our workflows. That's one of the things, is that they're always bringing those to the front for us. And then again, if we do have feedback, they are always open to it, saying, hey, this doesn't quite fit in our workflow. Can we pivot and shift this a little bit? And they've been a great partner for us as we've navigated that. And again, that relationship, 3 years ago at that Chicago conference, here we are today. And again, our primary provider for credit fraud back-end services because of that. Just again, that spontaneous conversation at a TMC conference. So just to put that plug in, that guys, when you're having at these conferences, the connections, have that deeper conversation because you just never know where it's going to go.
No, we appreciate that for sure. So I have to bring up a topic that has been making some waves around the industry, and I know that everyone's on the edge of their seat. Not really. They are like, I'm sure this is going to come up. But Tom, the announcement around Vantage Score 4.0 as an alternative to FICO, who you mentioned earlier, has stirred conversation, and everyone's asking, what's the buzz? So what is the buzz? And you have to have some more insight being a credit provider, and how is Xactus responding to the noise?
Yeah, no, I was going to make a joke that at the beginning of the broadcast, we sip every time that Vantage gets brought up in the discussion. But yeah, it's Director Pulte's announcements kept us busy the last couple of weeks, to say the least. Yeah, I mean, it's from our perspective here, it's certainly long overdue to have Vantage Score live, since, the scoring model's been sitting on the sidelines in mortgage for years. That said, Director Pulte's announcement definitely caught us all off guard, especially the immediate acceptance piece for Vantage Score 4.0, because it sent a message to consumers, if they were paying attention, that, oh, this scoring model is live now, and I can leverage it to, be considered for my lending needs. But, as we all are aware, are quickly learning, the mortgage industry isn't set up to accept Vantage right away. And maybe that was the intended result, to put the industry on its heels, to try to, kind of force feed movement from all the key stakeholders. But there's a lot of moving parts. So let's say from a 30,000 foot view, hitting on what needs to take place yet. So we need guidance from FHA and VA for impacts on government loans, as well as the GSEs and how they're going to price and operationalize Vantage. Then upon that guidance, you need tech leaders in the LOS and POS space to have the ability to test Vantage within their platforms, and how they would display Vantage as opposed to FICO, or how they'd configure their workflow to display both. Then on top of that, you've got the secondary market that needs to figure out how to price in risk across all score bands for Vantage. So that's a lot that has to take place and have all systems go to have a real confidence from a lender perspective of accepting Vantage scoring models and not worrying about, operational issues or repurchase risk. So I don't see it being widely adopted in 25 and probably well into 26. But from a Xactus perspective, proud to say that Xactus 360 is fully enabled to support Vantage 4.0. And what we're doing at Xactus is trying to lead from the front with education and updates out there. So I just dropped it in chat a little bit ago, but we're doing constant updates to our credit modernization resource center. So it houses announcements from FHFA, the GSEs, FICO, Vantage, and then I'll even drop in here a sec just a visual aid that I think is really helpful for lenders, kind of comparing FICO Classic and Vantage 4.0, so you can see differences between the types of credit, score ranges, and primary factors that play into the delta of scoring between the two models.
Yeah, and you all had a webinar, I think it was a couple weeks ago now, so maybe even providing the link to that to share with the network would be awesome. I think that it was well attended and very informational. And then Ryan and Nathan, you've relied on FICO for a very long time in many different channels. How are you processing this shift? What are discussions like at Greenstate? Are you preparing for change, or are you letting it happen?
Yeah, the timing on this has been remarkable compared to what we're doing right now. But I'll take it from a credit union lending perspective. Nathan will jump in the mortgage side, but Tom is right, though. I mean, Xactus has done a great job, at least of education. I mean, all of us are wondering what's going on, right? And you saw his comments on all the factors that are in play here. It's a lot, right? But I mean, I saw a post that Sasha posted today on behalf of Xactus on all the resources that are out there on keeping us updated. By the way, Sasha, her nickname for me is Idaho. She likes to make fun of Idaho versus Iowa. It's not even close to the same part of the country, so kind of irks me a little bit. Anyway, what are we doing? We're right now, though, we're actually in the process of running some data analysis on switching to Vantage Score on our retail lending areas. And so we started that process a couple of years ago, and then we pulled it because we had some, there was a lot of change going on here at Greenstate. So we just decided to pull the plug and just continue with what we were doing. We are a big FICO Auto 9 company because we are a huge auto lender. We do roughly 200 to 300 million in mortgages a month, but we used to do over 100 million in auto loans a month. So that we don't do that anymore. With the liquidity crunch the past couple of years, we've pulled our auto business down, but that model is heavy on auto loans and performance. And so that's what we've relied on for years. But, it seems everywhere I turn and every credit union friend that I reach out to, everyone's using Vantage on their retail side. So we've got a 6 to 8 week analysis that TransUnion is running for us, and then we'll compare. And we've sent them a year's worth of data and applications to analyze, and we'll get that readout sometime, hopefully end of August. But we're kind of in the process of switching. Hopefully, I think the data will tell us that would be a wise move, but especially with sometimes the number of zero scores that we get, right? That's one of the advantages of Vantage Score. It'll score more folks, and so hopefully we can help drive more business on that front. So when this came out, when Pulte made that announcement a few weeks ago, it was kind of funny timing on our end, and I shared that with the rest of our exec team and other people that are on this project, and saying, hey, look at this. This is something that we need to take notice on. Anything on the mortgage side, Nathan?
No, I would just add that, again, having the resources and information that is centralized that Xactus and team are providing is really, really helpful and crucial for our operations side of the house to be keeping an eye on it. Obviously, waiting for GSEs and others to weigh in is critical. And so we're going to try to stay ahead of that curve. We like to think of ourselves as an IMB inside of a credit union. And so as we move, we want to make sure that we're leading that as well for our team. So if there are opportunities and benefits that really do give and drive some lift, we want to be at the front of that. And so really, we're watching that area closely in that space. I like to joke that the way they announced it, it's kind of like Ryan does for us, is he's like, hey, we're going to do this, and may not be quite ready, but it pushes us to change and innovate faster. And that's not always a bad thing in our world. So sometimes it's like, hey, going to get this out there, and then you guys need to navigate and figure it out. And that's what we're all doing for sure.
Like adding a little hot sauce. Get everybody riled up and moving forward, right?
Exactly. Well, gas to the fire.
I want to be clear that when Ryan was talking about many other credit unions are using Vantage in retail, that he was speaking to auto loan, correct, Ryan? I want to make sure that someone didn't drop in and think that you were using Vantage Score in mortgages.
Yeah, no, it's for personal loans, auto loans, retail home equity loans, that space. Yeah, not mortgage. Nope.
Okay. Awesome. I'm going to make sure someone didn't zone out there. Then it'll be all over the headlines. Greenstate first to adopt Vantage Score across all
we do. We like to be progressive and lead, but not in this area, right?
Yeah.
Not yet.
That's one that you want to be late to the game on.
Yes.
Let somebody else work out the kinks. I completely agree with you. So, well, that's a wrap on today's episode. So a huge thank you to Xactus for sponsoring, Tom, Ryan, Nathan for your valuable insights, and to our listeners, your engagement drives the industry forward. We will be back next Tuesday on August the 4th at 2 p.m. Eastern time. And I actually think it's the 5th. I have no idea what next Tuesday's date is. At 2 p.m. for the TMC network and at 4 p.m. for LinkedIn network. And if today's discussion energized you, imagine 3 full days of our upcoming Boston conference. TMC members, get registered, get your hotel rooms, are running out. And for anyone that's not a member, if you want to learn the benefits of the partnership with TMC and how to attend conference, I'd love to share that with you. So cheers, and we'll see you next Tuesday on the SIP. Thank you all.
Thanks.
Thanks, guys.